Ahoy, ladies and gents, welcome to the show. How are you doing? I'll tell you what, there's fucking loads of mad shit to talk about today. it's been a wacky 24 hours in clown world, I'll tell you. Anyway, before we start, it is of course the BBC Spews live. Welcome to the show. It's the 29th of June. Huzzah! Who's in the chat? Let's have a quick look. Two-Tone, Bill Beebe, Jeff Wedden, Vivian Needle, Mark McCoy, John Hunter, Papa Golf, Jeff Wedden, Terry Wookfit, Trent Hugger, Professor Andy, Rodney Trotter, Chris Collins, Anglin Dave, Davy Bruce, James Hayes in, all right, mate, Amanda Sky, the Russian Bear, Monk, Mark Thompson, Bailey Gregory, Davy Boy, Blue Van Man, Davy Parker, Kaiser's Mum's on Twitter, on Twitch, sorry. Well done, Kaiser's Mum. We don't get many in on Twitch. Boondock, Kempo, Maggie P, and Whiskey Straight Owls in. How is everyone? How is yourself? I'm sound, Terry, as usual. The more balmy things get, the more it makes me chuckle. My sides, I'll tell you. Like I said, Bootneck saw it. But just because people like us, sensible, reasonable, logical, conservative types, can handle the government running the entire nation into the fucking ground doesn't mean it's a good thing. Because when you're running the state, you're supposed to try and look after everyone. And just because I'm happy eating gruel and surviving off rain doesn't mean that it's a good thing, that everything's going completely to shit. So I'm always sound. I'm always sound. Like I said, I'm a stubborn man. I would rather rip my own heart out of my chest and fucking eat it than ask the government for help in any way. I hate them. They are my enemy. It's like, so I'm fine. I view it that you should be fine out of pure stubbornness. I'm telling you, they could have me in a bed sit with nothing to eat but fucking salted porridge and tap water, and I would be happily cracking on, knowing that I'm gonna outlast Owen Jones. I'm all right. I'm always tickety-boo. But by fuck, it makes me mad, which is good as well, isn't it? Because when I get mad, it makes me happy. It makes me aroused. So, brilliant. Everything is sound, but how bad's everything going? How bad? I mean, I'm going to have to try and do these instead of rambling. Today, I'm going to try and reel through the story as fast as I can, do with like 5 minutes a pop, because there's so much mad shit to talk about. I don't want to miss any of it. And I'm going out with my missus at 12, so I've literally got 50 minutes tops. So I better crack on, hadn't we? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 good stories I want to talk about. First things first. Yeah, spam and rain, winner. I love a bit of spam and rain. At least you're probably going to live longer than Diane Abbott, who's using your money to go to the cake shop every day. The big fat waste of space. Right, let's have a quick blast through them. Right, first things first. Migrants die daily in lorries, hot as the gates of hell. Whose fault's that, Joe? Whose fault's that? What have we been saying? What have sensible people been saying for the last couple of years since the commies got the bit between the teeth and decided it was perfectly reasonable and acceptable to promote unending waves of mass illegal migration? What have we been saying? Have we been saying maybe we should go back to what we used to do in the 1980s and actually police the border and actually have a procedure, a process? If you don't have a process, you don't know what you're doing. Maybe we should go back to having a process whereby if you follow the process, you get into the country legally and everything's by the book and you get dispersed correctly throughout the country. So you integrate and we make sure that you're not a sex pest or a drug dealer. Or in the case of people like Arnis Zalkans, if you don't know who he is, he murdered Alice Gross when she was just a child. Because he moved to Britain to be a labourer on a building site. Like, oh yeah, we really, really need labourers on building sites. There's nobody who could do that job. We haven't got 5 million people sitting on the fat asses who could have done that job. No, we have to import convicted murderers from Latvia. Oh yeah, that's a good idea, isn't it? People ask about Arnis. Like, I thought I remember all these names. They burn themselves into my fucking brain because I pay attention to the world. And if you don't know, it was back in 2014. I know that's a long time to clueless walkers, but I'll put the story up for you anyway. 2014, Alex Cross suspect Anis Zalkan's made weapons to murder his wife. There he is, clearly brain dead, square-headed fucking psycho, bludgeoned and stabbed his wife to death in 1998. And what did he do? He moved to England to work as a labourer on a building site when he's not getting benefits or living in the council house. And obviously he fucked a 14-year-old girl to death. So winner. That one went well, didn't it? This is what you get when you have untrammeled immigration. Stupidity. That's lunacy. A man who murdered his wife moves to England is lunacy. It's the maddest shit I've ever heard. It's like me walking into my immigration, because obviously I had to have 2 interviews if I wanted to come to the United States. I had a lengthy one at the American Embassy in London. I had a lengthy interview here in the United States when I arrived. Paid a large fee, had 2 medicals and a chest x-ray, even though I've been immunized against tuberculosis when I was a kid. Basically, and to add insult to injury, I got sexually assaulted, which is a fascinating one. I've told you all about it. In my medical, I had to get my scrotum checked by a little Chinese woman. That was funny. Apparently, some people wear a prosthetic cock, so she had to grab the bootneck's wanger and give it a little shake. That was part of my immigration process. Large fee, 2 interviews, 2 medicals. Grab me by the ball sack, give it a little twist. Winner. Fucking nice one. That's what I had to do. An educated Englishman from one of the wealthiest, well, used to be one of the wealthiest countries, formerly one of the wealthiest countries in the world. And when I wanted to move to America, I had to do interview, police check, background check, interview, medical, and sexual assault by an American doctor. Nice one. Yeah, nice one. But these fuckers, what do? Jump in the back of a wagon. Quality. Yeah, nice, sensible process that. Just to try and, I'm trying to keep this as simple as I can, because I'll go into a rant and I won't get through all these stories. When the process for, let's say, my missus going to England, there's another lengthy, difficult process. When the process for an educated, wealthy, English-speaking Englishman or American moving to England or America, when the process is harder for those people than it is for a Somalian man, a person from a high-risk country, let's just say that, a high-risk country, when the process is harder, more arduous and more in-depth for someone moving from America to England or England to America than it is for a bloke, a fighting-age man, to move to one of those countries from a hotbed of terrorism and death. When it's more difficult for someone moving from Scotland to Florida than it is from someone going from fucking Libya to Texas, or it's harder for someone from New York to move to Leeds than it is for someone from Pakistan or Morocco to move to Leeds, there's a problem. There's a problem. And if you don't think it's a problem, you're a psychopath. Again, I would assume that even if you stopped the most left-wing Labour voter you've ever met in Newcastle, as long as they're not woke because they're completely tonto, I think if you stopped a working-class Labour voter in Newcastle and said to him, do you think it should be harder for Bootneck's missus, the California girl who speaks English and has 2 college degrees, do you think it should be harder for her to move to the Toon than it is to get an Algerian tribesman who can't read or write to move to the Toon? Do you think it should be harder for the educated American lady? Do you? Do you? And I like to think even the most brain-dead Geordie, yeah, sweating like a Geordie in a maths exam, I like to think even the most brain-dead Geordie in the world would say, why I like, well, I think I'd rather have a young American lass than a fucking Algerian tribesman with a hissing backpack, like. I just think that's something like they would say, right? Because I'm not mental. So, yeah, short version is, this is all Joe Biden's fault. This is the far left's fault. They're packed in like sardines and suffocating slowly to death whilst nice and toasty because you have motivated them to do it. You told them to come in. I remember the debates well, and I remember Joe Biden, I'm quoting him verbatim, going on the television in front of Trump and saying, they should all come here. They should all come here. Everyone who wants to come to America should be allowed to come. That's what he said. So suck my fucking stump with your fake outrage. BBC, Joe Biden, AOC, teeth like a dead sheep. Eat an apple through a tennis racket. You fucking goofy monster. You howling, bony fucking slut bucket. I cannot believe this shit. You kill them because you motivate them to do it. If we had a cast iron procedure and we simply said, everybody who wants to come, you do it by the book. If you come in illegally, you get instantly fucking deported. No asylum claims will be listened to. If you jump on the back of a tomato wagon or in a bastard bathtub and rock up in Texas or Folkestone, you are getting walked about turn, point your compass south and get the fuck out of my country. If they simply invoked that and pushed it through and aggressively policed it, none of these people would be dead. You wouldn't have a load of Chinese winkle pickers drowning in the sea. You wouldn't have any of the numerous... there was a similar one in Irish bloke got nicked for it, didn't he, in the UK. It's happening constantly. They don't give a monkey's fart. So fuck them. That story should say, BBC says, fuck them. Yeah? 51 dead kids, women, old men, fuck them. BBC. Because you don't care. You caused this. And conservatives like me said, let's stop it. Let's nip it in the bud. Let's enforce the law. Let's enforce the border. You caused it. So you can lick my left knacker, Mr. Biden. Also, how come they keep going on, Mr. President? They spent 4 years saying, not my president. Orange man bad, not my president. Why do I have to respect him now then? This is what people like me were saying for ages. You spend 4 years denying the elections. For 4 fucking years. Oh, not that the election was rigged. The Russians, Russia, election rigged, not my president. And then the second Biden staggers into the White House, you're not allowed to say, not my president. You're not allowed to say, maybe it was dodgy. I mean, just do me a favour. Do me a fucking favour. What a load of bollocks. So there we go. That wasn't bad. I did that in 10 minutes. Still over schedule, but I can't help it. It makes me angry. So that one, all Joe's fault. Yeah, cheers. Here's a story from the Telegraph I want to cover quick. Boris Johnson to break manifesto commitment on defence spending. There's Baldy Ben Wallace, absolute maggot of a man, human toilet, oxygen thief. There's the charisma of a rattlesnake with a hangover. Dozy Rupert knows less than fuck all. Buggered over that Bootneck who set up that charity for the dogs. He jumped on the bandwagon to try and make himself look better because he's incompetent and he's got the IQ of a pull along duck. So Ben Wallace is a cunt, and this story's not even about him. I just had to riff when I seen him. Honking creature that he is. Boris Johnson to break manifesto commitment on defence spending. Of course he is. Of course he is. That's the third big one he's broken in the last 12 months. It's like if you were trying to break manifesto pledges, you'd struggle to do that many that fast. But they haven't. The Conservatives pledged to spend 0.5% more than inflation on defence. Yeah, so they'd have to spend more than 10% of our GDP on the defence budget. Yeah, that was clever. That was clever. Did he tell you to do that, did he? Albino jellyfish. Maybe you should hire more competent people. Well, no, he's not going to, is he? Because he's not competent either. So that's hilarious. Boris Johnson set to break a flagship manifesto commitment on defence spending. Well, yes, you've started, so you might as well finish. Break a flagship manifesto commitment. He's been kicking the ass out of that since he got there. So why not carry on? Why break a good thing? Right? Why break the habit of a lifetime, Bojo? That's all he's done since he got in Downing Street. So he may as well do it again. Pensions have gone up. What else did he break? National insurance contributions have gone up. They're just taking the piss out of all of us. So once again, I'm bringing this to your attention, A, because it's a big deal. They're just taking the piss out of us. If you break all your manifesto pledges, you don't have any legitimacy. That's the point I've been making about Biden. The reason Biden hasn't got any legitimacy at all is because Biden ran as a moderate. All he went on about was how much of a moderate he was. Oh, yeah, I'm a moderate. I've been in politics 40 years. I'm a moderate. As soon as he gets in, fuck the border wall, cancel all the drilling and the fracking and the oil pipelines, and kowtow to AOC googly-eyed, chompers, fucking deranged plan to bankrupt the United States, half my stock value, and generally be an absolute twat. So yeah, winner, nice one. Cheers. Yeah, nice one. So they've got no legitimacy. If you put out a list of things that you're definitely going to do, and then the second you get into power, you don't do any of them, you've got no legitimacy. To me, if you keep on breaking manifesto commitments, as they have done, you've got no legitimacy at all. Basically, I should be living in your house, fatty. Boris shouldn't be in 10 Downing Street because he's taking the piss. People like you and I, dear listeners, have knew this for fucking months. So yeah, we're just being proved right. Every day we prove more and more right. This government's a farce. They're going to get their asses handed to them in 2024. And ironically, they're going to be replaced by the people who would have advocated even more COVID lockdowns and even more COVID spending and even more kowtowing and cowardice and stupidity. So the irony is the people that are going to replace them would have made the economy and the inflation even worse than it already is. And you just have to laugh, don't you? You just have to laugh. Like that. It's funny. It's funny. The UK is going to go to shit, but at least we'll be proved right. And that's all that matters, isn't it? They think they're going to make me beg for mercy. Oh, please, government, look after me. Give me some money. No. I'll tell you what, I will survive off rat burgers and puddles for 10 years if I have to, as long as it makes me fucking right. As long as it puts the final death knell, signs the final death knell for the communist ideology that constantly causes mountains of skulls to spring up everywhere it takes over. Fuck them. I love it. I love it. I cannot wait till there's unburied dead in the streets. I cannot fucking wait. Power cuts, unburied dead. The kids are eating rat burgers. I can't wait. Bring it on. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. When AOCs get staked to the floor and fucking roasted by an angry mob as a result of the fact that they're all starving to death, I'll be pissing myself laughing. I will fucking howl watching it. So yeah, cheers, Chomper. Get ready for the fucking good news. And rest assured, I'll be sitting in my squalid hovel, eating a rat smoothie and a cricket bar, pissing myself laughing, you dippy fucking bint. So there's another one, right? I'm back on schedule now. I'll bounce through that one quick. What else have I got? Oh, yeah. There's one. How good's this one? NATO summit. Turkey pushes Finland and Sweden on extradition after deal. How good's that? Everybody knows, right? You dance with the devil in the pale moonlight. When you make a deal with a country like Turkey, with a fucking rat bastard like Erdogan, you don't get anything for now off Erdogan. The man's a rat, right? They were going on about Erdogan saying, he was basically holding Europe's feet to the fire over the immigration crisis, charging them massive sums of money to let everybody in. That's what Erdogan's always been, a snake. And these snake rat politicians in Europe somehow think that you can do deals with a snake. Maybe it's because they are as well, and they know that they're completely malleable and they'll do anything for money, they'll do anything for power. But the big difference between them and him is Erdogan actually has a strong commitment to his ideology, his devout, extremist religious ideology, and that's all he cares about, winning for the Ottoman Empire. And these dozy bastards think they can do deals with these people. Have you never heard of Turkey? They're allowed to lie. They're allowed to fucking take the piss out of you. Of course they do. And again, I hope everything he dreams for comes true. I hope in 10 years' time, Finland and Sweden are just full of Turks and mosques. I hope it is, because that's what you get for doing deals with these people. You don't do deals with the enemy. You don't. Now they say like, we don't negotiate with terrorists, even though we do now, because our leaders are snakes and cowards. Oh, we don't negotiate with terrorists. Yeah, you do. It's all you do. When a load of bloody Libyans took that plane at Stansted, what did they do? Negotiate with them. They always negotiate with terrorists. They're just fucking totally malleable, and everybody knows it. So it was sorely led, ladies and gentlemen. So this is a good one. If you haven't heard about it because you live under a rock, obviously Finland and Sweden want to join NATO now because everyone knows NATO is a fucking joke and it's not in any way helpful. So of course they want to expand it. The globalist chills. Like I said, you don't get to beat George Soros, do you? George wants NATO to expand, so George is getting what he asked for. NATO is going to expand, even though it's a force for ill in the world. And to make it happen, they're willing to do deals with an Islamist fucking hate preacher like Recep Erdogan. Winner. How good's that? And guess what? Now they've said they're going to accept them in NATO. Now's the time to pay the piper, boys and girls. Turkey says it will now be pushing for the extradition of 33 terror suspects from Finland and Sweden under a deal that lifted Ankara's objections to the two Nordic states' bids to join NATO. Turkey now says they have to fulfill their promises and has accused both Finland and Sweden of hosting Kurdish villains. So guess what they're going to be doing? They're going to be handing over anybody the Turks ask for, and the next thing they're going to get the bollocks nailed to the fucking kitchen table whilst a burly hate preacher burns the soles of the feet with a fucking molten iron bar. That's what they're going to do. Packet of pork scratchings over the head, electrodes on the testicles, balance on a fucking Rubik's Cube. Have a good weekend. I'll see you on Monday. That's what's happening to them. So I love it. Everything's going tits up. None of the European politicians or leaders have got the spine or the will to stand against these people anymore. So brilliant. You're all for sale now, boys and girls. Get used to it. How good's that? So yeah, Erdogan's going to be dug up your daughters soon enough. Get fucking used to it. What else have we got? I told you there was a lot today. There's loads of mad shit gone on in the last 24 hours. It's almost like we're living in clown world, isn't it? Weird, that. Weird. Oh, yeah, here it is. Here's another good one. Oh, no, where's that gone? They haven't got rid of it, have they? Hopefully I missed a digit off the link. Because I had a great one there. Oh, there it is. Yeah, look at this one. It's almost like Boris Johnson. It's almost, well, obviously I'm right. You know I'm always right. It's almost like Boris Johnson's doing his best to prove me right. We've been calling him the albino jellyfish, the soy boy in chief, for like 2 years. It's like he's actively trying to be the biggest soy boy prime minister you could possibly imagine. Look at that. Boris Johnson says if Putin were a woman, he would not have invaded. You couldn't make it up, could you? You couldn't make it up. Also, good point, because their ideology is topsy-turvy and upside down and back to front. Well, what's a woman? What do you mean if Putin were a woman? What if Putin wakes up tomorrow and says, oh yeah, well, on Wednesdays, I feel like a woman. Checkmate. Checkmate, fatty. Take your big, saggy, dinner plate-sized nipples and get to the back of the line, fatty. You've lost the argument. You said that you can just identify as a woman whenever you like, didn't you? And you can change your mind on the days. You can be a man on a Monday, a woman on a Tuesday, and a man on a Wednesday again, can't you? That's what you said. I didn't say that. That's what you lot said, the wokists. Easy. So Putin's a woman if he says he's a woman. You should read that headline and go on TV and say, oh yeah, I'm a woman now. Checkmate, fatty. What do you make of that? It's so fucking stupid. And this is the same as, do you remember Douglas Murray talking about it a couple of years ago, saying how like one of the heads of the IMF was like, oh, if Lehman Brothers was Lehman Sisters, it would never have happened. So we're not equal then. You're basically saying women are better than men. Irrational, illogical, but that's what you're saying. This is sort of modern feminism summed up, isn't it? They want equal but much better. Because when it suits them, i.e. being a CEO, they go, oh, fucking hell, there's not enough women CEOs. They never say there's not enough women carrying fucking bins full of dog shit. Funny old thing, that's all the men. I used to work on a recycling crew in York. Oh, man, there was no women there. Going around the streets in the fucking snow, picking shit up. I've never heard anyone mention women there. Oh, well, we need equal representation from women's. Doing what? Picking up dog shit? Nah. Wrestling fucking muggers. Now we'll leave that for the boys, thanks. We need equal pay in football, even though 3 billion people watch the Men's World Cup, and the only people who watch the Women's World Cups are the fucking mothers of the players. I mean, it's like I've said, it's like a corner shop owner crying because he doesn't make as much money as the CEO of Walmart. Well, you don't make as much money, mate, because your company doesn't make as much money. Yeah. If Lehman Brothers and Lehman Sisters had spent all the money on shoes, if women run the world, there'd be more wars. And if you want to know my hypothesis behind that, I've told you this before. Anyone who spent any large amount of time around women in a group knows it to be true. And women know it. Conservative women know it. Base women know it. My missus knows it. If you drop 100 men in a war zone, they get on. If you drop 100 women in one, it takes about 10 minutes and they start bitching. They make little clicks. I have a hypothesis. I think it's because of evolutionary biology, right? For 200,000 years, we struggled, railed against the darkness. The men had to go out, risking everything to take down the mammoths, right? So you need to teamwork, you need to connect. People like, right, come on, Dave, you're going to do that. And John, you're going to do that. I don't know what they were called back in the day. Probably not Dave and John. Probably not biblical names. Probably Ugg Bug, and, well, probably sounded a bit like Matty Nung Wankball's fucking name. Ugga and Ugga Bugger, you're going to go and headlock the fucking mammoth, and I'm going to stab it in the eye with a sharp stick, and maybe 6 or 7 of us will die, but we'll get it done, lads. Come on. Hooah. That's how men approach these problems, because they've done it for millennia. Women sat back in the cave, didn't they? Whinging. Ew. Ugbug's got more berries than I have. She's a fucking slut. Oh my God. Ugbug got her jewellery from Boots, the whore. That's what women are like. I deployed to Afghanistan. I've told you this before. There was only 2 women in our FOB. 2 Navy medics. And that's what they were like. They didn't fucking like each other. We got on 110 bootnecks, got on fucking sound. Women know it, Vivian. Women know it, don't they? Ultimately, women don't get on as well as men do. They just don't. I'm obviously not saying all women, but a big gang of women, they always make a click. And men don't. They say, in regards to Nick Yak's comment there, working with women, it's much better working with blokes. They say men's prison is much easier on the inmates than women's prison, because the women fucking hate each other. They make little clicks. Blokes just get on with it because they have to. We've done that for fucking millennia. That's why men are less risk averse than women. That's why 9 out of 10 Darwood Award winners are men. Because we see buildings and go, I know what'd be a good idea, jump off the fucking thing. So it makes sense, doesn't it, that gangs of men who've had to coordinate to do all these dangerous things for millennia, it works slightly better together. It's not sexist, it's just an observable reality. Like I said, there's things women are better than men at, there is. And it'll go down, as usual, to have evolutionary beginnings. Men can see moving targets better. I believe women can do a lot of things better when it comes to rearing a child, right? They're much more emotionally intelligent. This is all totally logical, reasonable, good science, backed up by the common sense that we're an evolved primate and we spent tens of thousands of years living as our genders. That's why men and women have different skill sets and different abilities. But if you want to tell me that birds get along better than blokes, you are pulling my tiny pisser, I am telling you. So women, they'd fucking end the world. like I said, when I was in Afghanistan, there was 2 birds there. They hated each other. The guys all got on well. The women, they used to do that really two-faced thing as well. Like, if 2 blokes don't like each other, they either totally ignore each other or they physically have a fight, a fist fight. Again, because of evolutionary biology, because men we evolve the ability to very quickly resolve our issues. That's why the males butt their heads together in the wild. The goats headbutt each other for 20 minutes and see who's the hardest. Women don't do that. They do psychological destruction of their enemies. That's why when I was in school, the blokes used to kick fuck out of each other and the girls used to mercilessly harangue one another or talk behind each other's backs until one of them developed an eating disorder. That's the way they do it. So women running the world? I mean, was Thatcher against war? Did Thatcher not fucking ride the rescue in the Falklands faster than any man would have done? Seriously, women, if every country was run by a woman, we wouldn't be sat here. I keep not finishing the story about those 2 girls. They were sickeningly nice to each other's face as well. They'd see each other on the morning. They'd be like, morning, Claire, morning, Sue, how are you doing? Oh, you look gorgeous. No, you look gorgeous. No, you're gorgeous. You should be a model. No, you should be a model. See you later, babes. Soon as one of them leaves, she's a fucking slut. Oh my God, she's a slut. Oh my God, she shagged Gary and Greg and John and fucking Yozza. Oh my God, she's a spunk bowser. She's got crusty jizz all over her shirt and she lives in a bungalow and the foundation's subsiding and she gets a jewelry off eBay. And oh my fucking God, and the baby's fucking ugly. I've seen it. It looks like sloth in a stroller. This is what happens with women in charge. So don't tell me that if fucking Putin identified as a woman, he wouldn't have invaded anyone. Right? We'd all be sitting in the ashes if women ran the world. So shut the fuck up. Jacinda Chomper Ardern. Why have all these political women got teeth like a dead sheep, by the way? AOC, Chomper Ardern. It's really, really weird. It's like there's some sort of genetic link to manipulative brain cells and fucking teeth like a witch doctor's necklace. Really fucking strange. Don't know why. So, yeah, don't get that. Anyway, bollocks. Just thought I'd point that out for two reasons. A, it's total bollocks. And B, Boris Jellyfish Johnson is espousing the most ridiculous soy boy Owen Jones talking point and opinions you can possibly imagine. Never in my natural life did I ever think you'd get a conservative prime minister constantly going, oh, well, if he was a woman, things would be better. Give your job to Angela Rayner then, fatty. Put Ginger Minge in the job. See if we do any better. You clueless twat. Right, what else have we got? Oh, speaking of conservative soy boys, here's another one. I tell you what, I cannot move for soy boy conservatives today. Look at this one. Male MPs wear hot flush vests to simulate menopause. You know what? When I was in Afghanistan carrying a 90-pound Bergen up a fucking mountain in summer, right? Not once did I go, I'll tell you what, I'm glad I don't have hot flushes. Tell you what, a menopause would be a fucking nightmare. Yeah. My second tour of Iraq was in summer. When we invaded Iraq, obviously I was there in Kuwait in like February, I think it was. We crossed the line in March, invaded Iraq, twatted the Iraqis, back home in time for tea and stickies. I think we went in about January or February. It was mega early, which is funny because they were denying we were invading Saddam for like 8 weeks when I was sat there in Kuwait with a machine gun going, oh, we're not invading them then? No. Just goes to show how much they lie, doesn't it? But what, I was probably home for like June or something. First time around. When we went back next time, it was so fucking hot. I got off the plane on Telic 4, this was, and I couldn't believe. I actually thought I really was stood next to the engine. I thought, oh, that engine's hot. And then I walked down the stairs and crossed 10 foot of tarmac, and I was like, fuck me, it's not the engine. It's actually how these people live. No wonder they wear flip-flops. But, yeah, I didn't think when I was out in a war zone in the sun, in some of the hottest places on earth. I'll tell you what, it's a good job I don't get a hot flush. So look at these soy boys. Look at these. He's meant to be a conservative. Anyway, should we watch it? Yeah, I'll have a cup of tea and rest my vocal cords. Let's watch the soy boys for 90 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Right then, was it?
Yeah. I want you to maybe close your eyes and imagine that you've got a really important meeting.
Oh, I feel it now, yeah.
You can't control it. It comes and goes. Really unpleasant.
Well, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. I've had a drink. That's enough of that. First things first, you knew that the woman administering the hot flush jacket had have fucking hair like that, didn't you? Didn't you? It's like Big Red if she aged a few years, innit? You knew it. You just knew it. You knew she'd have gegs, piercings, daft coloured hair, and a fanny like a gutted fireplace. There's the four things you know about these ridiculous militant feminists with stupid fucking plans, like make all the men wear a vest. And secondly, just to make the point, if it wasn't clear, this baldy bastard, supposed to be a conservative. You know what you say when you're a conservative? You know what you say when a militant, pink-haired, geggy, minge like a fucking burst mattress, militant feminist says to you, Would you like to volunteer to wear the hot flush jacket to simulate the menopause? You say, jog on, communist. Easy. Easy. And I'm not a politician. Done. It doesn't require any effort, does it? Would you like to wear the menopause jacket? Fucking do one, commie. How's that sound? Take your pink hair and your big baggy gusset and get the fuck out of my office, you commie rat. That's what you say. Easy. Job done. Sorted. So there we go. Easy. Done. I'm done with that story. What else have I got? Told you, tons of shit to go through today. This one made me laugh. This one made me laugh for I know it makes me sound ignorant at the first, right? I'm not ignorant. I do know all about Crohn's disease. I've read about it. I'm not saying that living with inflammatory bowel disease isn't a fucking pain up the ass. But because it's on the BBC and they're not going to be happy because obviously it's part of their plan to totally decimate the economy. As I've told you a lot this, why do you think I predicted what the response was going to be to the COVID pandemic? Why do you think that? What have I been telling you? Because it's all part of the plan. We knew that the right wingers would say, even though it inverts the old adage that conservatives are risk averse and liberals aren't, right? Even though it inverts that, we still knew it was going to happen because really it's not about health. It's not about your safety. It's about decimating the global economy so you can point at it and say, look, capitalism doesn't work. Capitalism doesn't work. Well, it worked before you made everybody stay in the house for 2 years, you cunt. No. It doesn't work. Get rid of it. He'll say, get rid of it. Yeah, that's why. That's why. I mean, do I need to make it any more complicated than that? You know it. You know it. That's all it is. So we knew what was going to happen. It's all about crippling the economy, wrecking everything, making you all fucking miserable, and then going, see, system doesn't work. System don't work. It does work, you commie rat. You just put your ball sack on the fucking scales and changed the outcome on purpose to fuck us all. So don't tell me it doesn't work. It doesn't work because you did it on purpose. But this bitch talking about, oh, Crohn's disease is a nightmare. All right, I know it's a nightmare. But listen, there's a bit in this that's particularly
because of my
particularly interesting to me. She said, oh yeah, it's a nightmare. I've had around 15 surgeries that Matty's paid for. But look, where was it? It's invisible. It's invisible. Ooh, the old invisible disability.
to kind of sometimes go into cafes and shops and say, can I please use the toilet? And, you know, there's nothing seemingly wrong with me if you look at me from the outside.
Well, it's a major city. Just shit in the street. Easy. Easy. Have you never been to Los Angeles? I've seen more people shitting in the street than I've had hot dinners. I've seen more homeless prostitutes' lungs than I can shake a stick at. I'm sick of seeing hookers waving the wet lettuce about in the middle of the street. You live in a major city, love. Just snap one off in the middle of the fucking road. Just do it. Shit on a copper's head. Crimp one off on my foot while I'm eating outside a restaurant. Do it. It's London. It's London. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Shit on Sadiq Khan's fucking lap. Just waltz into the London Assembly, drop your fucking knickers and snap one off on his fucking chest. Do it. You live in London. Nobody will care.
I don't think anyone should have to prove how disabled they are.
There. That's the quote I wanted. That's the quote I wanted, right? I don't think anyone should have to prove how disabled they are. Really? Really? Yeah, you know why you think that? Because you won't be happy until the entire country's on the bastard disability. Disabled in UK. What's the number? At last I checked it, I was staggered. Let's see if it's gone up. Here we are. Look at that. Look at that. It's going to have gone up and all, and I can't find a recent one. Look at that. So there she is. I don't think anyone should have to prove how disabled they are. I fucking do. I do, love. You know why? According to the Family Resource Survey of 2018-2019, 14.1 million people in the UK have a disability. 20% of the working age population are sat on their fat asses doing nout. Who's paying for their rent? Who's paying their council tax? Who's feeding the fat fucks? Who's purchasing all them turkey dinosaurs from Lidl that they shovel into the fucking mouths? You are. That number should probably be, realistically, let's just throw some straws in the wind. I reckon from drinking in my locals and knowing thousands of people throughout my long life in England and Scotland and Northern Ireland and Wales and all the places I've visited and speaking to thousands of people in hundreds of boozers, the actual statistic should probably be about 5% of the working age population. Under 65, about 5%. Right? 1 in 20. 1 in 20. You know it. You know it. The average 42-year-old is not fucking disabled. About 1 in 20 should be disabled. That figure is because we are getting the piss took out of us. Right? And if you're genuinely disabled, of course, we all agree we live in a society. We're not going to let people starve. I agree we should have disability for people that warrant it. But no checks. Are you having a laugh? When 20%... I'm doing that a lot lately. When 20% of the country is on disability, you don't think we should have any checks? Like I said, it's because they want us to go bankrupt. They want us to go bankrupt. They want the system to not work. And this is what you must understand. Why I am so hostile to the wokists and the far left. It's much, much bigger than identity politics. It's much, much bigger than race baiting and hypocrisy and stupidity. It's much, much, much bigger than that. They want everyone to be fucking miserable to usher in the glorious revolution. They want to make you miserable. That's why they're pushing gender ideology on children. They want to make your children miserable, because if your children are miserable and drugged up and suicidal, you'll be miserable. Most parents aren't happy when the kids are in tears and they've just tried to take a chunk out of the fucking femoral artery with a sharp stone. You're not happy when your children aren't happy. You're not happy when you're not well fed. You're not happy when you worry all the time. The central crux of this whole debate about centrism and conservatism and actual libertarianism versus the wokists, the communists, is simply that. They want us to be miserable. They want your children to be miserable. They want you to be miserable. They want you underfed, underpaid and reliant on the state, because only when everybody is really, really, really fucking miserable do they think they'll usher in the glorious revolution. That's exactly right, Samuel. They want to break you. They want to break you. Don't let them. Don't fucking let them. Is that about it? I think I've got... Oh, yeah. I had one more story I wanted to do. So I did all right there. I blasted through 6 of them, didn't I? The last one I wanted to do was... what if the internet was run by women? Sent to me by someone on the internet, on my Facebook group. But it's eyeball cancer. Like I'd need a whole stream to get through this. It's so long and so fucking retarded. It would take me an hour to work through. It's ridiculous. But needless to say, it's just pure bleeding eyeballs all the way through. Like it's absolute cancer. Look at that picture there. That sums up the article. It's like blue-haired, check, daft hair, black, daft nails, stupid fucking outfit, horrified because there's a white woman on the screen. I have to listen to a white person. And apparently it's impossible. It's impossible for a person of colour to be racist. Well, what are you outraged for then? If you hate someone so much that you're outraged just because of what they look like, I would suggest that you've got a bit of a mental problem. So that's just me. Oh, yeah, and finally, so I have to do this before I leave. I'm not doing that story. It's pure eyeball cancer. The last thing I'm going to do, as promised, is how many have I got on here? 3, 6, 9, 12, 16 have I got? Oh, yeah, and some unpaid ones. Fuck hell, have I hardly got any? 3, 6, 9, 12, 13. So I need a random number generator. On to 13. Generate. Easy. There we go. There's that. How do I do that? Bosh. Generate. Ding. 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 Easy. All right. 1, 2, 3. Number 9. Who's that? This is actually quite. I'm getting better at this playing with 3, 6, 9. Alan Lloyd. Well done. Well done, Alan. Send me a message on Facebook. Thank you for your continued support. I will send you some shite in a flat envelope. What have I got? What have I got in my folder? I've got a load of shit in here. You can have that one. I've got a card design. I'll also send you a high quality print in colour and the original artwork from one of my borderline racist artworks. So well done, Alan. Please message me. Cheers, mate. Do appreciate it. And I think that'll do us for the day, won't it? Everybody, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that tirade. I am fully erect and I need 10 minutes of a cold shower to get my erection down so I can go to the shop with my missus. So yeah, the rage boner needs some time to subside. Cheers, Alan. Send me a message and thank you to everybody that watches me vent my spleen for your pleasure. All right. Cheers, everybody. I will see you all tomorrow. Keep smiling because it's fucking funny living in clown world. All right. See you later.